I wanted to thank everybody we have so many volunteers that came out. We had so many volunteers that came out to help build this wall. And it was an amazing event to watch. Tuesday to watch all the young ones coming out to invite the wall here. And then Wednesday to all start and put a full day in of 5 hours to build this wall. They had to literally trudge every panel, every anchor, and everything that's on that wall had to be hand carried over. So they were busy all day. More importantly, I wanted to make sure bringing this wall in was something I had dreamed about for the past 9 years, and I needed to make it a reality for all our Vietnam veterans and their families. If all the Vietnam veterans can raise your hands. Welcome home. So, I would like to have everybody stand if they're able.
Forward.
While our junior ROTC Marine Corps cadets present our colors.
Up, turn, hard. Color guard, out. Free, and colors.
Please remain seated for the national anthem, sung by Carrie Mullen.
Forward, arch.
Yes, I do.
Would you pray with me? God, whose goodness called the worlds into being and put within each of us the precious gift of life, we gather here in the presence of this wall that stands today as an enduring tribute to our sons and daughters who made the ultimate sacrifice so many years ago. As we gaze upon the thousands and thousands of names that are etched into the marble, we know that for some, there is a single name on that wall that touches a wound in the heart that is still very real. We also know that together all of those names bring back memories for those who were there, those who knew the struggles that took place in the rice paddies and the jungles of that faraway country. So in these days of remembering, we pray that this time of tribute will bring them a little healing and inner peace. And for those who lived through those turbulent times here at home, and those who are too young to remember, and those for whom this chapter in our nation's history is known only through the pages of a history book, we pray that this wall will remind us of the simple truth that a nation divided against itself cannot stand. And as we stand before the many names on this wall, we pray that it will bring us together in our shared journey as a people and a nation under God. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Hughes. Please be seated, folks. At this time, I would like to welcome and call Select Board Member Andrew Schultz to please speak to the audience as well.
Good evening, everyone. As a member of the North Reading Select Board, we deal with many town issues and have the opportunity to speak to many groups. By far, my most favorite groups to go to are the veteran events. The wall is a wonderful exhibit that helps bring healing to many. This is truly a field and a wall of honor. Last night I had the chance to see the wall and all lit up, and if you can stick around till the sun goes down, it is absolutely stunning at night. It really was touching. It is an honor and a pleasure to be asked to speak before you guys today, and I'd like to take a moment to thank Susan Wagner, the folks at Town Hall, and the numerous volunteers that put on this great event here. Before I get started on my remarks, again, can I get a show of hands on how many Vietnam veterans we have in the crowd? Let's give them a round of applause. On behalf of the town of North Reading, I want to thank you for your service and your duty to your country. Vietnam veterans were not treated properly when they came home from overseas. This was a travesty of justice. Our Vietnam veterans deserve better than what they received, and I'm so happy that times have changed and they're finally getting the gratitude and the respect that they so richly deserve. I would like to now touch on a few statistics about the wall right behind me. The average age of the heroes on this wall is 22 years and 9 months. These were just kids out of high school. This means that the vast majority of these folks on this wall would probably still be with us today, had they not paid the ultimate sacrifice. There are over 1,500 service members who remain unaccounted for. There are 8 women and a total of 58,276 names on the wall. That means there are 58,276 stories of men and women who were killed in the line of duty following the prime of their lives. While there are many stories, I'd like to touch on one that hits close to home for myself. My father, Dutch, lives in upstate New York, wanted to be here tonight, but he's gone to the weather this week. He served in Vietnam, mainly in a place called Pleiku. Dad's bunk name was Charles Picarella. He is on this wall directly right behind me in section E10. My father, who was very involved in veteran troops and commanded his local VFW for years, never spoke much about what he did when he was in the service. I have found many Vietnam vets are the same way, quiet about what they actually went through. My guess is for my father, he was just trying to protect my younger sister and myself. But he did recently tell me a story behind his friend Charlie. Charlie was from Queens, New York. He didn't ask to be sent to Vietnam. I don't know if he even wanted to be there. He was a young kid just out of high school. Dad and Charlie were assigned to the same tent. One night, Charlie was out in Da Nang on a night patrol. A few hours later, another soldier rushed into my father's tent and told him Charlie was gone. Charlie was 21 years old. He would likely still be with us today. Charlie is just one of the 58,276 names on this wall who each have a similar story. We must never forget these heroes. And we must never forget the effect stories like Charlie's have had on the families, the friends, and the fellow comrades in arms who served with the deceased. Charlie, I thank you for your service. And Dad, I thank you for your service. And to the rest of the Vietnam veterans gathered here today, we all thank you for your service. And to the over 1,500 service members who are still unaccounted for, many of whom went through hell in Vietnamese prisoner of war camps. You are not forgotten, you will never be forgotten, and you will always be remembered. In closing, it has been my distinguished honor to speak before you today. God bless all the heroes on this wall, God bless the veterans still with us, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
It is with pride and pleasure that I present to you Captain Steve Castanetti, U.S. Navy retired, and Sergeant Major Oswald, USNC retired, and the Lynn English Junior ROTC Marine Corps Cadets. I'm going to leave this to Captain Castanetti. And I believe there's boxes of tissues around too.
Thank you, Susan. Wasn't a breath of air earlier, now the wind's going to knock everything over on us. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention
Forward, orange.
to the center of our gathering. You may have noticed the table set before you. It is filled with symbolism. I will explain.
Orange time, orange.
The table is set for our prisoners of war
One.
and those missing in action from all wars.
Oh.
They are not with us today, their chairs are empty, but saved for their hoped return. Let us remember their absence. Let us remember the United States Army, honored by Cadet Furman. Let us remember the United States Marine Corps, honored by Cadet Generazzo. Let us remember the United States Navy, honored by Cadet Beauchamp. Let us remember the United States Air Force, honored by Cadet Chinchilla. Let us remember the United States Coast Guard, honored by Cadet Huggins. Let us remember the men and women, prisoners of war, from all branches of service that are too often forgotten. Let us remember them. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms, so that their children could remain free. Remember. The lone candle symbolizes the frailty of a prisoner alone, trying to stand up against his oppressors. remember. The black ribbon on the candle reminds us of those who will not be coming home. Remember. The single rose reminds us of the loved ones and families of our comrades in arms who keep the faith and await their return. Remember. A slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate if we do not bring them home. Remember. There is salt on the plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they wait and remember. The glasses are inverted. They cannot toast with us tonight. Maybe tomorrow, if we remember. The red, white, and blue ribbon is tied to the flower vase by a yellow ribbon that was worn by thousands who awaited their return. Remember. The faded picture on the table is a reminder that they are missed very much and are remembered by their families. Remember. As we look upon this empty table, do not remember ghosts from the past. Remember our comrades. Remember those whom we depended upon in battle. They depend on us to bring them home. Remember our friends. They are the ones we love, who love life and freedom as we do. They will remember what we do. Please honor and remember them. As Cadet De Leon extinguishes this candle, let us transfer its flame to our hearts and remember.
Right. Base. Oh, wait. March.
Okay, thank you guys so much. that is probably one of the most moving tributes I've ever seen. And they do it amazingly. Our next honored guest speaker has been a member of the Senate since 1995, presenting the 1st Essex and Middlesex District, representing Susan. Senator Bruce Starr consistently works to enhance the lives of the veterans in the state of Massachusetts. Senator Bruce Starr has a consistent track record of helping veterans and supporting them through events and legislation. We are especially grateful for his assistance in helping us fund the wall that heals. There's a lot of work behind the scenes here, and this has been a year in the making, putting all of this together. With a lot of volunteers involved, so many it's hard to, I mean, I'm looking at probably close to 200 people that got involved. An elite 15 group, and a lot of venues, restaurants that have donated kindly food to all the workers here, all the ones that are in the safety green shirts that you see around here. And I'm especially grateful to Juliana and to Paul and to Cynthia Long for giving us the opportunity to show them this is going to be an amazing event that they're never going to forget. But more importantly, this event, to me, is to make sure that our Vietnam veterans and their families have the opportunity to have some inner healing and be able to visit their comrades and their loved ones. So I just want to say again, thank you all so much for coming. And thank you all so much for supporting our Vietnam veterans. And again, I thank them so much. Senator Tarr had put an amendment in to the FY20 budget, and it passed for $10,000 to support the wall. When you asked him for help, and you asked Representative Brad Jones for help, they always come through. Please give a great round of applause to Senator Bruce Starr.
Thank you so much, Susan, and good evening. And I want to tell you that it was an honor to be able to receive the request from Susan to be able to assist with funding so that we could be here tonight and throughout these next several days. And what an honor it was to see the Senate overwhelmingly affirm that request. And then through the assistance of Representative Jones, see the House join in that effort. So the state could do its part in helping this incredibly important event take place. Not only for the people of North Reading, but for the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And it's a real honor to be here with you tonight and to think about the fact that this endeavor has drawn on the very best of North Reading. And that's what's on display tonight. The very best of this community. Volunteers, town government, town administration, the business community, and everyone in between, including the veterans community that is central to what we do here tonight and for the next several days. It is the very best, and it is a time and an event that deserves the very best. It deserves the best because of the importance of the purpose that draws us together in this beautiful park, on this beautiful night, and for the days and nights that will follow. Because it causes us to think about a very difficult time in the life of the United States of America. It calls us to think about a war that was questioned by so many, and for which so many suffered. We think about the fact that over 3 million Americans were drawn into the service of our country as a result of this war. And we think about the fact that no matter what happened, they kept fighting on. They were sent to a very foreign place, and they kept fighting on. They endured jungle conditions for long periods of time without being able to bathe or have adequate nutrition, and suffering horror all around them. And they fought on. Some of them were drafted. Some of them were volunteers. Side by side, they fought on. They fought on through guerrilla warfare and search and destroy missions, and Agent Orange, and a hostile enemy that sometimes came from so many directions and in many cases was difficult to clearly identify. And they fought on. In too many instances, there was a knock on a door. The family was told that their loved one, whose average age was somewhere between 19 and 21 years old, had been killed. And they fought. We think about tonight in particular, with the arrival of the wall, more than 58,000 of those knocks on the door, of those lives disrupted, of all of the promise of those young lives that was extinguished. We also think about the more than 150,000 that were injured as well. We think about what they gave us. We think about letters from home that had to have given some indication that there was unrest here and what was happening was not always popular. And yet their comrades had fallen. They got those letters and they fought on. Many, I'm told, of those who fought in the infantry served an average of 240 days in combat in a year. They fought on. Over 40 years ago came the official end to the war. And would we have been able to say at that point, the fight was over? It was not. As they came back, most often they came back one at a time. Not with a group, not with a unit. And the fight continued. The fight continued as they looked on their arrival for an embrace, a hug, a thank you. Too often it didn't come. What came too often was criticism. Sometimes things even worse than that. And they fought on. They fought to come back and live among us and establish a healthy life with a family and a future. And as they fought that fight, too often our federal government was not there in the way that it needed to be through the GI Bill and other benefits. But they fought on. So tonight, we have this remarkable wall. And it has the names of those 58,000 more than who gave everything they had. And we need to think about that sacrifice and the enduring sacrifice that others are still making. So we'll walk up to the wall, and many of us will trace the name with our finger or a pencil and a piece of paper. And that will help us to remember the humanity of what we're talking about. Because in the 40-plus years since the war officially ended, there have been books and movies and newspaper articles, and will, for a very long time, continue to work to try to understand exactly what happened. And while we debate those things, as our country debated them while the war was happening, there is one thing that is undebatable, and it is beyond dispute. And that is these were and are courageous people with integrity and valor who stood up the way that everyone has in our military tradition and fought for the values of this country, and they did what they had to do. And they fight on. So as we think about that humanity, and we think about the fact that it connects all of us, we should think about that's why this wall and this endeavor is important. Many who still try to work through the issues that they were left with by the war will come and place flowers, a picture, a memento. That too will help us understand the humanity of what we're dealing with. And for those that do that, you need to understand that we will be here not only to learn, but to support them. And the real question that we have to ask ourselves is, will we fight on? Will we fight on to deal with issues like homelessness and substance abuse and unemployment? They never stop fighting, nor can we. We should be proud that we live in a state that leads the nation in benefits and support for our veterans. We should be proud that we live in a state in which every community is served by a veteran service officer, and we sure do have a phenomenal one, Susan Magner. And we should be proud and thankful that we still have the opportunity to help those who work through issues that came from the Vietnam War. My hope is together, as a community, as a state, and as a nation, we will never stop that fight. Because just as it is true that we should always honor our veterans, it is also true that we should also continue to work on their behalf. And remember, because there's a simple proposition here, we can't take back time. We can't turn back the clock as much as we would like to. But we can do everything in our power today and every other day to make a difference in the lives of those who have been affected by the Vietnam War.
that should be our solemn obligation. It is never too late to say thank you to a veteran. Never, ever, ever. And it is never too late to say the simple words as we should say individually, as a society, and as a country, that we didn't say enough at that dark time in our history. For all of our Vietnam veterans, God bless you and welcome. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you again the Junior ROTC Marine Corps cadets out of Lynn English under the direction of Sergeant Major Oswald. If anybody would like to move up forward to see this amazing presentation, please do. And it's all yours, Sergeant Major.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation. Ready? Go!
At this point in time, we would like to roll call surrounding towns. They're local Vietnam veteran heroes that we lost and that are on the wall, as well as those that are in the in-memory program. The in-memory program, just to give you a little update, an understanding of it. As you all know, we have a lot of Vietnam veterans that came home and have been suffering, whether it's mental health issues or they're dealing with a lot of health issues. And unfortunately, those health issues due to Agent Orange is taking them away. But what a lot of people don't realize is also what the families have to endure, because it's not quick. It doesn't happen within 4 months. You're looking at 10, 15 years of them suffering, and their children alongside them, and their wives. This is what happened. So, that being said, this was why it was so important to bring this here, because many of them can't travel to DC. And this wall is a 3/4 scale replica of the one in DC. And more importantly to me, this wall, not only it reflects all the names, but this amazing trailer. And please take your time to go through it. We have people all in safety green t-shirts that can help you find loved ones or friends. But the educational end of it in here is just simply amazing. The stories that are in there, one in particular that somebody told me about, one of the Vietnam veterans had his mom send cookies, and the box of cookies came back to her, noting that he had died in action. So there's lots of these kinds of stories, and I really hope that you all take the time to really go through this, because I don't know when this is going to be around in Massachusetts again, and if it comes around next year or whatever, but it travels to 34 cities and towns throughout the United States, and it's by application and reasoning of explaining why we should have it here, to be honored to host it. So that's pretty, when you think about it, 34 cities and towns throughout the United States each year. So definitely take the time. Please bring the children. Let's get them educated on all this. It's important. At this time, I would like to call Mark Camara, who is the VSO, Veteran Service Officer for Andover. So in the in-memory, just so you know, that's why there'll be roll call in memory as well. Veterans who have passed away due to medical issues or suicide or overdoses, whatever, is an array of things. So I just want you to know that's why they call me a memory. Keep them up.
Thank you. Roll call, K. Vandover. PFC, George Henry Belanger. Joseph Paul Candiano. Warren Charles Dairman. Eugene Raymond Moreau. Brian Richard O'Connor. In memory, James Michael Webb, United States Marine Corps. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I would like to now call Jamie Melendez, who is also president of the Mass Veteran Service Officers Association out of Lawrence.
Thank you, Susan. Roll call. KIA's on runs. David Peter Pedrosa. Robert Francis Cody. Gerald Francis Curry. Randall Morris Denton. David Francis DeVoe. Lawrence John Corelli. Richard Joseph Gilbert. Joseph Thomas Gall Jr. Paul Daniel Demon. Gregory Patrick Kent. Alan Carl Langer. Vincent Burke Lee. Dennis John Mannion. James Augustine St. Cyr. Martin Joseph Sullivan. Edward James Wolfendale. And in memory, Juan Carlos Luis Army.
I'm just making sure, is Hayden here? Okay. So I'd like to call out Joe LeBlanc, who will roll call for North Andover.
Roll call, KIA, North Andover. Specialist 4, Michael Joseph Byron. Lance Corporal, Gregory Chalmers Davis. Sergeant, Michael Roy Dunn. Spec 4, James Patrick English. From the town of Oxford, Lance Corporal James Leonard Melvin. Thank you.
I'd like to call out Arthur Cole. He would like to roll call for North Reading. Arthur is the commander of the FW 10874 for North Reading.
Special Sport, Daniel David Callahan. Lance Corporal Jimmy Michael Kudo. Sergeant Eugene Raymond Moron. In memory, Daniel A. Denny III, 3rd Coast Guard. Joseph Morana, Coast Guard. David Francis Curry. Joseph Paul Candiano. 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 Joseph Pa John Raymond Gallant, Marines. Robert W. Russo, Army. Edward Earl Stebbins, Army. Paul A. Valley, Air Force.
Ready? Kevin Bowmiller.
From the town of Reading, let us never forget Peter Malcolm Bradbury, Robert James Crouse, John William Hanson, Michael Dennis Howell, Robert Allen Holt, Bruce Carlton Parmalee, and Edward Allen Putney.
For Stoneham, Jim Devlin.
Stoneham, Massachusetts. First Lieutenant Joseph Timothy Campbell. Sergeant Joseph Carmen Cerrone Jr. Chief Warrant Officer Paul Robert Moran. Chief Warrant Officer George Clifton Schultz Jr. Step 4, James English. Pet Sergeant Richard Fitzgibbons Jr. and Richard Fitzgibbons III. In memory, John Henry Barrett, U.S. Army. Robert Hepburn Yancey, U.S. Air Force. Rest in peace.
The last one is Jixbury. I wasn't sure if she was going to make it. Lisa Dunn. At this point in time, I would like to call the Minute Militia.
Right face. About face. Boys, fire alarms. Present to the 45. Present. Order, fire alarm. Climb and load. Yeah. Climb and load. Climb and load and get ready. Wait for the commands. Can you hear me down there? Present to the 45, present. Recover, climb and roll. fire alarms. Present to the 45, present. Recover. About face. Order fire alarm.
You may all be seated.
Order fire alarm.
This concludes tonight's ceremonies, and thank you all again. And again, welcome home to our Vietnam veterans. I want a special thank you also to Captain C. Castanetti, to Sergeant Major Ken Oswald, our Marine Corps Junior ROTC cadets out of Lynn, English High, Reverend Hughes, Karen Mullen, Selectman Andrew Schultz, and of course Senator Bruce Tarr. Thank you all for coming. This was so important. I want to thank my town administrator, Michael Gilberto. He will be your master of ceremonies tomorrow night. And I see Kate Manicali in the crowd. She is also on the select board. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank all my DSOs. And I want to thank everybody that's working so hard these days to make sure you all understand what the wall's about. Thank you, and God bless.
sir. But they are good.
Please rise if you are able to for the presentation of colors presented by the U.S. Marine Corps 25th Regiment, followed by our national anthem. Please remain standing for the invocation rendered by Reverend Rachel Fisher of the Aldersgate Church, followed by the retirement of our nation's colors.
Let us pray. Gracious God, you have given us a beautiful evening to be together, a beautiful place. But God, the thing that brings beauty to this evening is not the setting, it's not the weather, but it is a nation that would raise a generation of soldiers that would willingly answer the call to duty, to even go to lay down their lives to protect their country, their family, and their neighbors. God, fill our hearts with this beauty tonight. Allow us to be made better because of it. God, allow us to leave this place stronger and a better reflection of their beauty and your beauty. I pray in the beautiful name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please be seated. Colors retire. Good evening. Thank you for attending this event. My name is Amy Costello. I'm a North Reading resident. I am also active National Guard here in Massachusetts, also known as Sergeant Amy Conti. And I would like to continue this event with our honored speaker. This evening's honored guest speaker is Colonel Matthew Kennedy. He's currently the Innovation Officer for the Mass Army National Guard. Earlier this month, he transitioned from his previous role as commander of the 151st Regional Support Group, the RSG, based at Camp Curtis in Reading, Massachusetts, which he held that role for the past 3 years. In that role, he led over 1,400 soldiers organized across a diverse group of Army units, including a General Support Aviation Battalion, a Transportation Battalion, a Military Intelligence Company, an Acquisition Detachment, and a Military History Detachment. He recently deployed to the Middle East with the headquarters 151st Regional Support Group in 2018 in support of the United States Army Central, and his soldiers supported operations in Kuwait, Afghanistan, Jordan, Qatar, in support of Operation Spot and Shield and Operation Inherent Resolve. Prior to this role, he was the Director of Aviation for the Massachusetts Army National Guard. He was responsible for overseeing fixed-wing helicopter training and operations in support of all federal and state missions. He was born in Waltham, Massachusetts, and raised in Winchester, Massachusetts. He began his military career as a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York, with a BS in Mechanical Engineering. Upon graduating, Colonel Kennedy reported to Fort Rucker, Alabama, for the Officer Basic Course, Helicopter Flight Training and Air Assault School. Upon completing his training, he traveled to his first duty station with the 1st Armored Division in Hanau, Germany. Afterward, he returned to Fort Rucker for the Aviation Officer Advanced Course and then on to Fort Campbell, Kentucky with the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault. He served 8 years on active duty with assignments as platoon leader, battalion staff officer, company commander with the 227th Aviation Attack Helicopter Battalion, as well as staff officer and company commander with the 4th of the 101st Aviation Air Assault. In January of 1999, Colonel Kennedy transferred to the Massachusetts Army National Guard as a traditional guardsman. He served as Battalion Logistics Officer, Battalion Operations Officer for the 3 of the 126th Aviation Battalion, and he deployed in 2005-2006 as Aviation Task Force Operations Officer. After deployment, he served in numerous staff roles at the 79th Troop Command, 51st Troop Command, Joint Force Headquarters, Massachusetts, and was the battalion commander of the 3 of the 126th Aviation Battalion. He has commanded at the company, battalion, and brigade levels during his career. Colonel Kennedy's military awards include 7 Meritorious Service Medals, 1 Air Medal, 2 Army Commendation Medals, 2 Army Achievement Medals, Global War and Terrorism Medal. He is a Master Army Aviator and has a master's degree in Business Aviation from the University of Massachusetts Amherst. He is a 2015 Harvard National Security Fellowship graduate at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government as part of the U.S. Army War College, and a 2017 graduate of the Joint Combined Warfighting School in Norfolk, Virginia. Colonel Kennedy's civilian career includes 6 years as Director of Service for General Electric, 12 years as Program Manager in Electronic Warfare with the VAA Systems, and most recently, Senior Program Manager for Enhanced Night Vision Binocular at L.H. Harris in Londonderry, New Hampshire. He currently resides in Londonderry, New Hampshire with his wife Carrie of 29 years and their 4 children, Kathleen, 27, Colleen, 24, Matthew Jr., 22, and Michael, who's 18. Please give a warm welcome to our honored guest speaker, Colonel Matthew Kennedy.
Thank you very much, Sergeant Conti. Very appreciate all that you did in the kind and warm introduction tonight. And to start off with, how about a big round of applause for that Navy band? We're very fortunate tonight to have the Marine Corps Color Guard join and help us tonight, and the Navy Band tonight. Sergeant Conti, thank you very much. And all of this is under the direction. We want to pass our great thanks to Susan Magner for her and her entire team for putting this all on tonight. Thank you very much, Susan. Well, good evening to each of you. It's truly an honor for me to be here tonight with my wife, Carrie, and my youngest son, Michael, who are also joining with me tonight. And it is truly an honor to be here to share this experience with you of the Wall That Heals. And I had the pleasure to meet several of the Vietnam veterans this evening before the ceremony started, and my heart was just absolutely warmed with each of the stories that they shared with me and how they've connected over the last several days to the Wall That Heals. And it's truly that connection that really binds each and every one of us. And in particular, we got a chance to have the true honor of meeting Gordon Thornton tonight, a Coast Guard veteran who is a resident here of North Reading for the past since 1951. And on the wall that sits behind me, he has 11 friends that are marked on that wall. So he's one of many here tonight that have a direct connection to the wall that's behind him. It's a connection that's deep inside their heart, and the work that Susan has done with their whole staff here to bring this wall to Massachusetts and to North Reading in particular. We owe a great debt of gratitude to you, so I'd ask a big round of applause for Susan. Many of you may not be aware that there's only 38 towns and cities across the United States that get a chance to be honored with this wall that travels around America. 9 years in the making to get this wall to come to North Reading, and it came here in 2019 with the hard work that Susan did, so we thank you. It's truly an honor. There are members here tonight from all over New England that have come at the beckoning of this wall to participate in this experience, to get a chance to see the names of their loved ones, their friends, their patrons that they know of and they've served alongside with and have a chance to connect with. Those connections are really what forms the fabric of all of the services. Every single one of them. The Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, U.S. Coast Guard, all of us are bound together by that concept of serving. Serving something greater than yourself. And that could be a service that lasts a very short amount of time, or it could be a service that lasts a long time. But regardless, it's serving to something larger than yourself. And that connection is what keeps us all together as we travel from generation to generation through our lives. I have some connections here to the North Reading area. As Sergeant Conti mentioned, I used to command the unit that's based down the street at Camp Curtis Field. I've been in the Mass Army Guard for about 22 years. My mom and dad live in Reading now with my sister, and then my wife Carrie and I and our kids live over the border just a little bit in Londonderry, New Hampshire. But all this region here has a deep sense of service to our country. There's so much deep-seated history in the fabric of all of us with our connections to the Revolution and our service since then, right here locally. For the National Guard started just down the street from here in Salem, Massachusetts in 1636. And then the U.S. Army started in 1775 on Cambridge Green, just outside of Harvard. And not too far from here in Newburyport, Mass, is the start of the U.S. Coast Guard. So we have a lot of roots here in Massachusetts, and it's very fitting that this wall came here to Massachusetts to help touch and connect all the service members that we have. On the wall that's behind me, there are 58,320 names etched. The wall itself, when I've looked at it, and I've been to the one in Washington, D.C., and my wife Carrie and I and Michael have had a chance to look at it this afternoon. What reminds me of, what brings to mind when I look at the wall is its simple elegance. Its simplicity. And the fact that there is an accountability of each service member on that wall. Each person is listed by name. Each person matters. Each person is on that wall. That wall gives each of us an opportunity to go up and touch the name, to run our fingers along the letters, to take a piece of paper like my son Michael did earlier tonight, and do a rubbing with a pencil, and take that away as a memento of the experience. Because that experience helps all of us heal the wounds that have happened over the years, and come closer together so we can go forward as a family and all of our friends going together into the future. Each of those folks that are, each of those service members that are listed represent the service members that were killed, as well as the prisoners of war and the missing in action. It's remarkable as Americans that we also honor those service members that have not yet been accounted for. Not all countries do that in the world. America does that. America honors the fact that we have not accounted for all of the folks that have served overseas, all of those people. And on the wall behind us is also marked, and you'll see it as a cross, the prisoners of war and missing in action, because they're part of the Vietnam veterans that are accounted for. The people that are on the wall behind me are regular people. And I've had the honor and the privilege to serve alongside many people that have served our great country. And what I've noticed over the years is that these people that serve, they are regular people. They're regular. The regular people that you met down the store at the end of the street. They're the paper boys, the Girl Scouts, people you see at church, the people that you go to school with, play football with. They're just regular people. They're regular people that chose to stand up, and they had the steel in their back to stand up and say, "Choose me, I'll go." And they went. And they answered America's call to serve. They served with honor, and they came home with honor. And we owe a debt of gratitude to each and every one of them that chose to do that. Our country is forever in debt to the work that these service members did to America to keep us free, and then pass that torch to the next generation. As I'm coming to the end of my career and passing it to the next generation is in front of me. We connect and we never forget. And this wall that's behind me allows us to do that, is to connect and make sure that each and every one of us remember that sacrifice, remember those people, so that they can live on in our memories and live on so that we can know them. What I'd ask that each of you do tonight, as a personal request from me, as we're talking about connections nearby, I would ask that you go out to the wall behind me and find the names of the 2 service members from North Reading. Find their names on that wall. And I ask that you take a look at their names and rub your fingers over the names of each of them. Their names are Army Specialist Daniel David Callahan, 20 years old. He died on February 25th, 1968. Nearby him in the wall is Marine Lance Corporal Jimmy Michael Cotto, who's 23 years old. He died on February 13th, 1968. Both of these North Reading residents died within 2 weeks of each other. And I'd ask tonight, as my personal request, is go find them. Go find them and connect with them. And I know many of you came from far away, but that's the local connection right here, and I ask that you do that. I'd also request that each of you remember your family members. I had the privilege tonight to get a chance to meet many of the family members in the audience tonight. For it's really the family members that bear the brunt of the service that we, as the service members, go through. They have the harder job. When we deploy, as I've done twice now, I have a job to do. I go do that job, I get the work done, and the best I can, and then I come home. But my wife and children, they bear a much harder service. They don't know. They have all that unknown that's out there. Am I going to come home? How do I balance everything? How do I handle everything by myself? And I pass my personal thanks to my wife, Carrie, to my son, Michael, and to each of my other kids, Kathleen, Colleen, and Matthew, for all they've done over the years to help me do my service to our country. So for tonight, we honor the people that are all serving here, that have served in America, served our great country. We honor the people that are etched on the wall behind us. They are the national treasure that we all cherish. They form the 1% of Americans that have answered the call to serve and defend our great country. And as we light the candles tonight as part of our candlelight ceremony, please keep in your hearts the loved ones that you may have lost that are etched on that wall. Keep in mind the loved ones that you've met that may not be on this wall, but may have served in another time in the military. And also keep in mind the loved ones that they left behind. And also keep in mind our great country, for it's because of our great country that we're all here tonight, in the service of our great Americans that serve us across all of the branches of the American military, that we're here tonight. We thank each of you for being here. We thank each of you for honoring it. I want to pass on my thanks again to Susan for pulling this all together for us, and I thank each of you.
Thank you, Colonel Kennedy. We will now hear America the Beautiful, performed by the United States Navy Ceremonial Band.
afternoon, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Gilberto, Town Administrator for the Town of North Reading. On behalf of the Town of North Reading, the North Reading Select Board, Director of Veterans Services Susan Magner, who's to my right, and the North Reading Parks and Recreation Department, welcome to today's closing ceremony to mark the conclusion of the Wall That Heals visit to North Reading. This afternoon's ceremony is brief and will lead into the solemn process of returning the wall to its carrier so that it may travel to its next destination. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge Select Board members Kate Manupelli, Steve O'Leary, Leanne Gonzalez, Rich Wallner, and Andy Schultz for their support of the past few days' events. Here this morning to honor our country and our flag, here this afternoon to honor our country and our flag is the North Reading Police Department Honor Guard. God Bless America will be sung by Cassidy Nicholas, a 7-year-old from Haverhill, as well, and I would ask that everybody please stand.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark time, march. Detail, halt. Left, pace. Freeze it, pumps.
God bless America. When that I love can't die her, and I her through the night with the light from above, from the mountain to the prairie to the ocean. Light with gold, God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, Cassidy. That was excellent. I'd ask that everyone remain standing as Reverend Richard Hughes of the Union Congregational Church in North Reading leads us in an invocation which will be followed by the retirement of colors. Reverend?
Let us pray. God of all the days that are yet to be, we give you thanks for this day and these past few days that have allowed us to stand in the presence of this wall. As we've gazed upon the names of those who made the ultimate sacrifice, we pray that it has brought a measure of healing to those who still grieve and will never forget. And now, as we prepare to send this wall onto its next destination, we pray that the names that are etched into that marble will also renew in us a desire to be peacemakers in this sometimes troubled world. This we ask that we may see the day when, in the words of the prophet Isaiah, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, and neither shall they learn war anymore. Amen.
Honor Guard, please retire the colors.
Detail, right, pace. Forward, march. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
please be seated. Our closing remarks were to be offered by a woman who needs no introduction in this forum. However, I'd like to tell you a little bit about North Reading Director of Veteran Services, Susan Magner, seated here to my right, and her efforts to bring the wall that heals to North Reading. Susan is an Air Force veteran, has worked for the town of North Reading since 2007, and has overseen all facets of veteran services in North Reading since 2010. When Susan first proposed that North Reading host the Wall That Heals 2 years ago now, it was clear that doing so would be fantastic for North Reading and for the state. And I can tell you personally that I also knew, and we all also knew, that doing so would be a tremendous responsibility for our employees, for this park, for our citizen volunteers, and for the volunteers who have kept watch over the wall for the past few days. The past few days have been special to so many people for so many different reasons. We have all come to the wall with different, but nonetheless honorable intentions. Whether it has been honoring a friend or loved one lost in the war as a result of its effects, honoring a comrade, paying respect on behalf of a family member who could not be here, honoring our Gold Star and in-memory families, sharing a personal story regarding service in the war and the return home, or just learning more about the Vietnam War and the difficult circumstances that surrounded it. This meadow in a park on Central Street has become a solemn place to grieve, say thank you, reconnect with old friends, pay our respect to those whose names are on the wall, and to express our gratitude for the freedom we enjoy in this country. And this was all because of Susan's vision. I'd ask that we stand to join in thanking Susan for her efforts, and I'd like to introduce Amy Conti, who will offer some comments on Susan's behalf.
Thank you, Michael, for those amazing remarks. I'm actually going to put Amy up here in a minute, too, because I'm still losing my voice. But this is not, it was my vision. It was my desire to bring this here for the Vietnam veterans, the families, as well as all the communities throughout Massachusetts. But this is not done by one person. This took a village to put it together. And I don't think I have enough time up here, keeping you in the sun, to announce every single name of everybody that came, because there were so many that put in 10, 12, 14 hours preparing and finding food donations, sponsorship donations, getting all our military and everything here. It can't be done by one person. So I need all of you to give yourselves an amazing hand for doing what you've done to bring this to light and make this. We literally put North Reading on the map. I was told that these are some of the biggest ceremonies they've ever seen traveling throughout the United States. So I'm so happy that we were able to do all this for you, and everybody came together and made it happen.
And I'm going to turn things over to Amy Conti to offer some thanks and some comments.
Thank you very much, Michael. My name is Amy Conti, a North Reading resident, also active duty for the Massachusetts Army National Guard. I want to thank you, Susan. And it's just like her to pass the buck and thank everyone else, but in reality, it's you. You did this. I visited the wall in DC, but it has never meant to me what it means right now. I'm going to start off with special thank yous of those we want to identify. For all the food donations for our volunteers. keeping us awake for 24-hour operations. Heavenly Donuts, you kept that coffee flowing perfectly. Thank you. Kitty's Restaurant, Captain Pizza, Andrea's Pizza, Nan's Cafe, the Horseshoe Grill, Mike's Roast Beef, BJ's, and the Big Dipper for saving us on that afternoon with their ice cream. Thank you very much. All the volunteers for all your coverage on the wall. We can't thank you enough. A special thank you to Laurie Sousa and Larry Reedy. You guys have really outdone yourselves. Thank you. All of you who helped build this wall, and for all of you who will be helping break it down. Everyone? Brad Bazzardi, thank you so much for your DJing. You did an amazing job. For our public affairs assistant, we had the transcript, NORCAM, Al with advanced photo, and Jeffrey Lopez, the videographer. Thank you very much for your coverage at this time. A special thanks out to Senator Bruce Tarr, State Representative Brad Jones, Secretary Francisco, excuse me, Colonel Kennedy, Command Chief Mass Sergeant Michelle O'Keefe. I work with her actually, she's quite amazing. Select Board members, Rich Wallner and Andrew Schultz. Town Administrator Michael Gilberto, thank you so much. Vietnam veteran Rich Stratton. My personal hero. His story, I'll never forget it. And him sharing that story with us the other night was amazing. Bishop Mark O'Connell, Reverend Rich Hughes, Reverend Rachel Fisher. Our singers of the national anthem, we had Ayla Brown and Karen Mullen. Thank you so much. And of course, our sweet little Cassidy Nicholas. Just saying your name brings chills. You did an amazing, beautiful job. And she's shy right now, so I apologize. Our honor guards that came out, United States Marine Corps, United States Coast Guard, the Mass Army and National Guard, whoop whoop, Minute and Militia, North Reading Police Department, honor guard, thank you very much for today. Can't forget the bagpipers, the Navy Ceremonial Band, and the Lynn English JROTC Marine Cadets. Never get tired of seeing those kids, ever. And finally, an extra thank you to Marty Tilton, the Parks Director, and Maureen Stevens, the Park and Rec Operations Director. None of this will be possible without your time and your volunteer and amazing assistance in this whole week. And finally, the Vet Center. They've been here in there with their resources for all of us veterans. For anything we need, we have been able to stop by there and get all the resources that are available to us. Thank you again very much.
Thank you again, Susan, and thank you, Amy, for your help in recognizing all of the folks who pitched in to make this possible. I'd like to just offer a few final personal acknowledgments before we conclude our ceremony. To the countless people and businesses who contributed funds to make this visit by the wall that heals possible, as well as Senator Tarr and Representative Jones for their securing funds to help. Again, I offer my thanks for their efforts. Thank you. To the, please. To the town staff who played an instrumental part in making sure this event was successful, including Susan, Maureen Stevens, Marty Tilton, Mike Marciano, Brian Ald, Rich Giordano, Chiefs Murphy and Stats, Pat Bauer and Chris Deming in the DPW, Theo Kouliopoulos, our emergency manager, who made sure we had appropriate generator power here, and Liz Rourke, our finance director. I thank them for going above and beyond their regular duties to pitch in for this event. Thank you to all of you. To the committee and other planning volunteers, including retired Chief Warnock, Lori Souza, and Al DeSalvo, thank you for volunteering your time. To the staff of The Wall That Heals, including Cynthia Long and Juliana Blaylock, we appreciate your efforts in making sure that the wall got here safely. And Paul as well, thank you, Susan. To the dozens of volunteers who stood watch over the wall, offering assistance 24 hours per day for those who visited the wall, thank you. And finally, to our Vietnam veterans and all veterans and their families for all that they did and still do to protect our great country, thank you for your service and for your sacrifice. For those who have volunteered to help return the wall to its carrier, please gather next to the trailer at 3:00 p.m. for direction. If you have not signed up, but are able to volunteer here this afternoon, we would greatly appreciate your assistance. If you could join us, it would be very helpful. Thank you all for being here today, and may God bless America.